Hi, this is Cindy. I am joining you from California today. I'm going to do a unique painting that I've done before. I'm trying to replicate it. The last time I did this painting, it was about 3 months ago, and I tried to redo it just this past week. I did not get the results I was hoping for, so I'm going to go ahead and try again. And what I was aiming for is just a bunch of colors on the canvas, just thin lines of color all over. And I did not record that, so I really don't remember how I did it. So I'm going to try to replicate it. It's really important to me because I loved that painting. So let's get started. I'm going to list in the description the colors that I'm using. And I think that I'm just going to place out the colors, try to keep it where each part of the canvas has a little bit of that color and a little bit of design. I'll go ahead and mention this after all. This was Liquitex Bright Aqua Green. I'm going to follow that by the Amsterdam Green Blue. And all of these colors are, these are all mixed with the American Floetrol. I have a recipe that's listed in my description, the video description. And I had tried one or two other variations, but I'm pretty happy with the variation that I have right now, because I feel like even though the colors get a little bit darker, I feel like they are not so dark that the painting loses all of its brilliance. So I'm not sure about you if you have to run your air conditioner during the summer, but I got my bill and it was over $200. I was in total shock. I think last year the worst month was probably $150. So yeah, that's a big shock. And I don't think I'm running any hotter than I did last year, but we'll kind of see how that goes. I need to definitely rein that in. So today I've had the temperature a little bit higher than normal. All right, so what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go with the, okay, so the colors I've used so far is the Liquitex Bright Aqua Green, Amsterdam Green Blue, and the Fluorescent Blue by Liquitex. This is the Deep Violet by Liquitex. And at this point, I have shared in the past, but I am in between jobs. And my normal job was being an administrative assistant, senior assistant, and executive assistant. And I recently, did a little personality test and thought, yeah, that's a good job for you because you like to be there for people. And there are a lot of aspects that I like to that position. Setting up socials, making sure people felt comfortable when they were new to the company or new to our department, and just being available for whatever they needed because they were always so busy. And often I could help them, kind of with the basic administrative stuff. One job that I did was with the senior community, and the internet had just popped up around that time. So I did a class with some of the seniors, basically one-on-one, to teach them how to use the internet to contact their family members. So that was cool. I've never worked with kids. I have thought about that and thought that would be cool, but I've never done that. I think you really need to have the early childhood credits, which probably, I don't know, I think it takes about a year or two full-time to get that. And that just wasn't my focus at the time. But I definitely have thought about it over the years. All right, so the color I'm using, this is the Magenta, and that, I believe, is by Liquitex as well. Now what I'm hoping to do is just get enough color on here that I could tilt the canvas and get a little more design going on. And even as I'm going, I don't think it's going to be turning out the way I was hoping. As far as the one I really liked, the one painting just had lines and lines of colors and golly. But each time I try, I'm getting closer to the answer to how I got that done. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if ooh, that came out really heavy. Ooh, that came out very heavy. Yikes. So I'm not sure if you do any sort of art and how you sell your artwork. I did stop by a local actually a local gift store, and I just left my phone number, my email, and my YouTube information just in case the owner had interest in selling my work. And I think it's going to take time to get somebody interested, and I may need to just kind of stop by, bring some of my artwork with me. Okay, that one's almost out. Next, I'm going to go with the fluorescent pink. Okay. So I also use the Sobe recipe, which is much thinner, and I've taken a couple weeks break from that. It is a difficult medium for me. It's kind of a hit or miss. So I think that there's a pretty broad, deep curve, learning curve on that particular recipe. Though I definitely recommend it, because I did give some paintings away to family recently, and they had so many good thoughts about the paintings I put together using the Sobe recipe. So I don't want to abandon it at this point. And I think the thing too is I just need to follow her a little more closely, Olga, so that I'm better understanding how she uses the paint, and also the colors that she uses. The color combinations can be. Some people are really good at it intuitively. I think for me it's kind of a hit or miss. Okay. So I did remove probably about 6 or 7 paintings when family came to visit, which I was happy about that. And so that was a good thing, just to empty out some of the space on my walls so I can varnish and put everything else up on there as well. All right, so I use the Benzomatic. It does have a little lock, which I really like. And you just click it here, press the button, and then when you're done, you use this, which unlocks it. Okay, so this is not going to turn out as I was hoping. I can see that right off. And I do like the colors. I don't think I want to add a deep purple there. I could just go ahead and I'm going to pound this down a little bit first, just in case there's some air bubbles that I missed. I think that there's something right here. I think there's some dry paint. Yes, there is. So I'll go ahead and take that off. And what I've shared before, it's good to look at the paint and see the reflection. There's a ring light above, so I can see the reflection, and that helps me typically locate any problem areas. And the sooner you can get this stuff out, the better. The other day, like the painting I showed you a little bit earlier, I found something the following day, and because it was Floetrol, I thought, no problem. I got my little tweezers, picked it out, and then there was this big, massive dent in the paint. I don't even know if it's filled in yet, but that caused some concern. So the sooner you can get it out, the better. And let's see if that moves at all. It's moving a little bit. Now, I did do my first short. I believe it was earlier this week or late last week. And I was just really, really amazed at, I think it was within a short amount of time, I had about 800 views. And that's pretty good. Just being a new person on the, having a new channel. And I think that YouTube actually, since people really like the shorts, I think YouTube helps to promote those, just like for the first day. And yeah, so that was great. I did create another one, and it didn't go as well. So I'm not sure if they just promote your first short and how that works. Okay. So what happens, some of these paints will sit there for a month or two, and it could be at that point that they are, there's little dry areas, dry paint forming around the bottle tip. Okay, well, I like that the empty parts that were not, there was no paint on the canvas, I like that those are filling in. And you know, I think that I haven't added any silver. I really like adding silver. But we'll see. I'll go ahead and stretch this out a little bit more and see what happens. Part of me thinks I'm going to have to add more paint because this is not, yeah, I don't think I have enough paint on the canvas. And that's typically the issue I've run into, is I just don't put enough paint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go back and add some of the same colors. And so what do we got? We've got the deep violet, actually deep violet. I'm going to go ahead and put that here, just kind of along the edges where it's having trouble getting over all the edges. We've got the magenta, which the magenta is a little bit low. Very low. Oh. Okay. Got everything's actually getting a little bit low. Okay. So for myself, I'm not sure if you are working at this point in your life, or if you just kind of step away to YouTube every once in a while. But being that I'm not working, not to tell you all my information, but it's very difficult to stay off of YouTube, to go, okay, time to wrap it up and to do something constructive. And I think, I don't know, I think it definitely does have an addictive quality to it. Okay, so I picked that up because it didn't the paint there didn't really look right. It looked kind of like a Band-Aid. I'm going to also put a little bit of the blue. This is the green blue at the edge so that everything comes off the corner. All right. Okay, so there's a lot of design here, not as much here. So I'm going to pull the paint down this way. So I guess a lot of kids are going back to school at this point. Maybe like you, when I was a kid, we would have probably, I think, the end of June till like the beginning of September off. So I'm not too sure if kids are getting less time off, but yeah, I'm always surprised when I hear, yeah, everyone's going back to school. Now, what I do like about this is that the green, the aqua green, really kind of sets it off, because sometimes I tend to use just cool colors, and then, I mean, half of the paintings on my walls are a blue base. And so I think I like this because it's different. All right. Okay, so I definitely need to think about this some more. I'm going to pull it off this way because the sides are not yet covered. None of the sides are covered. So let's see if we could get some of that paint to drop to the sides. Well, let's see. Still need to drip it a little bit more. And I'm hoping, yeah, this is not fully covered yet. And I could dab it. I guess I'll go ahead and dab it, and then we'll see what happens. Yeah, this is not covering yet. And again, I feel like I need to do a little more paint along the edges, and okay. Yeah, this is something I don't typically do, but I'm just going to put some all along the side and see how that works. Okay, I'm going to go to the right side first. As you can see, that paint is coming off, which is a good thing. It's going to the sides. And let's see, that's almost, yeah, that looks better. Yeah, I think that definitely helps the paint flow. Let's see, I'm going to do that a little bit longer. Okay, this side is not perfect yet, but it looks better than it did originally. I do use these wire baskets, and then I do have push pins into the frame of the canvas. And that is helpful, but sometimes the push pins do get stuck in the wire baskets. So with this one in particular, it's set up where the push pins do not even touch, do not even get tangled in the wire, at least not typically. Okay, this is going very, very slowly. Let's see. I want to pull that down a little bit more. Okay. All right, that's not ideal, but I'm going to go ahead and focus on this side now. Bring that to the bottom. Now this paint is pretty thick. It takes about 4 seconds for the trace to dissolve into the cup. Okay. Well, it's moving slowly. I have a solid line of blue on the bottom, and I'm trying to get that pushed off so that it looks a little more natural. Now, typically I will add white, but the last couple times when I added white, it was just a little too much. So this time I went ahead and skipped it altogether. What I need to decide is looking at this from different angles. Okay, I feel like if there's enough paint, I want to pull everything down so that there's more design on the right. Because I feel like the right is really stretched out, the left is a little more squashed. Okay, I think that looks a little better. And I'm just going to kind of look at it from every angle. And I want to bring this way because this is pretty stretched. I think that looks a little better. I'm going to try to bring that this way. Now, as I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, do I do something else? Should I use bubble wrap? Should I use my hair pick? Should I bring out the balloon and add a couple kind of like little flowers to it or not? Do I leave it as it is? Do I add silver to it? This area, this has kind of come back. It's, I think it must be the green. It looks like a Band-Aid to me, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of try to move it around here. And that was probably a little bit too much. Okay. All right, so I'm going to bring this down a little bit. See if we can cover up that. It was a little deeper than I really wanted. Okay, I'm going to kind of move this around a couple more times, see if what it looks like from every angle. I'm going to move it just a little that way. Okay, you know, I think it's got some fun colors, fun designs here. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but I think it's got some really good colors. I don't see any more dry flecks. I'm going to go ahead and torch it one more time. Then I'm going to pound it a couple times. Purpose is to hopefully surface any bubbles that are, you know, kind of within the paint layers. And I haven't seen too many artists do this, a few, and actually I think it really helps. Okay, so I'm going to take the extra paint off the bottom of the canvas. That's just to prevent little dry drips from forming. Sometimes I have to do this a few times because there's a lot of paint that is flowing off. Okay, all right. I'm going to bring you in just a little bit closer. Okay, so there'll be a little bit of reflection from the ring light. But sometimes I have to crop this a little bit, so I need to remember to bring in more of the sides just in case. I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a great night and have a great weekend.